Hello, Serge here from the back porch. We have a question today from John Crossley. It's basically some comments and a question, and I think it's very good because it involves something that we're all very interested in: distance. All right. So John Crossley says this: I've been using the Surge swing for a year, and it has drastically improved my consistency and accuracy. But one thing I cannot seem to get right is distance. Let me explain. As I progress in club size from a 5-iron upwards and in woods from 5 to the driver, the difference in distance is not that much. As an example, my 3 hybrid goes almost as far as my driver. In other words, it is rare that I make a green regulation, typically 3 shots for a par 4. And on long par 3s, more than 190 yards, I need a driver to get close. I understand clubhead speed at impact. Is there something more besides just swinging the arms faster? Am I missing something, or should I just settle for accuracy? Great comments, great question. In the end, I still think that accuracy is the number one thing we should be striving for. The key is, as I always say to DJ before he tees off, fairways and greens. That's my number one priority. I want nothing more than my ball to be in the fairway. I will not accept missing the fairway too many times in a round of golf, and missing it too often means that I have to practice more and get it in the fairway. Golf is much easier when you're in the fairway. When the fairway, the grass is shorter, you get better contact on the club, you get better control of the ball. When you're in the rough, you have to worry about grass getting between the club and the ball, which can cause flyers, which are shots that come out hot with less spin, and they tend to just go too far. They knuckle through the air. You do not have control of your golf ball. And if the ball settles way deep in the rough, you have the problem of not even being able to get enough club on the ball to reach the green. So fairway is the only place to play golf from. And in many cases, we will all play better golf if we can control our ball and keep it in the fairway, giving up the extra yardage if we have to. But there are some other things that we have to think about in terms of what John said here. Number one, he said that he tends to hit his 3 hybrid just about as far as his driver. Well, why do the 3 hybrids or all the hybrids usually play better than any of our woods? Because they are shorter. They're designed to play more like an iron. So with the shorter length, we have more control of them. They're also designed to hit the ball higher in the air, which gives us a better launch and better carry and better control of the club and the ball, and therefore hit better shots. So I think that maybe the number one thing that John needs to look at is see the difference between how much longer his driver is than, say, his 3 hybrid, and go to a fitter and get the club checked out and get the club cut down. Maybe give up as much as half the distance, half the length, and see if that doesn't help him hit the ball longer. I mean, I'm right now experimenting with drivers that are the exact same length as my 3-wood. I have Lynn Griffin making those for me, and I'm actually feeling better and more consistent hitting them because I can feel my arms straighten out at impact like I do on my 3-wood on a tee ball, as compared to when I swing even my short drivers by most standards today, which are 43.5 inches. I just don't feel like my arms straighten out. If my arms aren't truly straightened out, I'm losing speed at impact, and I'm very likely having a little bit of an issue with controlling getting the club squared in the release to impact and swinging up. So check the length out. Lastly, I think a point we need to look at is, as clubs get longer, the longer they are, they're slightly flatter, and it's therefore you have to work harder to make sure you swing it vertical. I try to swing every club on the same plane. I let the club make the difference for me in my setup and where my hands are, but I try to swing in the mitten up the tree and then in the forward mitten up the tree and keep that steady and swing on the same plane with all clubs in my mind and pretty close to my body. But the key becomes longer clubs need more energy to swing them faster. You need to be more athletically ready, your muscles more engaged, and ultimately you need more strength. And so to swing them faster. So that's why in the end, I'm trying to get to a shorter driver, not only for the arm length, but the fact that being shorter, I should be able to swing it as fast as I can with my 3-wood, and pretty darn close to it at least, and not have to feel like I'm over-energizing myself, which ultimately can be tightening up muscles rather than keeping them smooth and accelerating. So you have to be able to accelerate the clubs, and especially the driver. And when it's the longest one, if you don't have that strength to swing it, then basically it can't happen. So we have to start accepting who we are and what we are. We know as we get older, one of the biggest things we have is we lose muscle strength. They say about 6 to 8 pounds of muscle every 10 years or every decade after you turn 40. And so you're losing strength, so you got to work harder to maintain that strength or to at least keep some semblance of it. And so how many of us are doing that? And no matter what, how hard you work, you're still in a declining state there. So we have to change our attitudes and accept who we are, what we are, our age, what's going on. And I think the key is to think accuracy. If more than anything, think accuracy. Control the ball. Hit it straight, hit it in play, keep it in the fairway, and hit the greens. And I know we need distance, and ultimately, again, you might not want to hear this, but as we get older, let's get real. We can't hit it longer. We're not as strong. We're not as fast. We can't do the things we used to do as we were younger, and that means playing the same tees. Today, I basically play most golf courses from about the middle tees. I try to keep it about 6,500, 6,700 yards max, and I accept that I'm older. I'm not getting any younger, so therefore it means I'm not going to be getting any stronger. But what I can get is a heck of a lot more accurate. Hit the ball more solid and straight and accurate, and keep the ball in play, control my ball. And when I hit it in the fairway and on the greens, I'll still be shooting lower scores because I'm hitting better shots. Well, that's it for the search for today on accepting who we are, what's happening in our lives, and let's change our focus to accuracy. But at the same time, let's also check our clubs. And with this driver situation, probably if your driver is over 44 inches, it's very likely too long. Cut it down, get it close to being a hybrid driver instead of a full driver. And I bet you'll start hitting more solid and straight and longer. And that's going to give us what we want to help us play better golf and shoot those lower scores. Well, that's it for the search for today about hybrid drivers. Let's try that and see if it works. And I'll be talking to y'all again soon.